Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another short video. This is actually going to be a test of a computer that I repaired a couple of weeks or a week or so ago for a customer in, let me actually see his information, 1 second. He's from Florida. Eric, this is your computer. So this is a 2001 Ford F-350 with a 7.3 liters. His computer was completely dead, no communication. I had to replace pretty much everything. I mean, microprocessor, memories, it was completely dead, no communication, and it was a very complete repair. So when I do something like that, I actually make the computer look like new. And sometimes, and I think it happens to him, I might have changed the covers because it's a little rusted or something, trying to make it look like a new computer because it's actually in new condition. So he got the module, put him in the truck, and said that he has no communication, no start. I'm like, well, I should have actually recorded a video, but I'm being so loaded with work that I'm, trying to just take pictures and send that to the customers, but that didn't work. So the computer is back in here, and I'm going to, with all of you, do a video for him, connecting, showing communications, and I actually connected an IDM Injector Driver Module to do the test on the injector. So if that goes through, then we know that the car not only has to communicate, it has to start. Otherwise, the problem is where it's in the vehicle. All right, so let me just show you the first note that I have from him when the computer came. So let me just move here. So in here you see he's completely revealed, completely remanufactured computer. And the IDM, this is not his, this is mine. All right, so let me just, I have the scanner ready. Nothing is powered up or connected yet, or power up. So let's go over to the folder. All right, so this is when the computer first came, and you can see, why I did change, covers. You can see all the rust and everything in there. So I did that, and he was a little worried, like, that doesn't have my marks and stuff like that. I'm like, Eric, I'm sending you a completely rebuilt computer. So yeah, I might have changed the covers just to give you something in a better shape and a better look, because it was really rusted. As you can see, it was a lot of corrosion internally in the computer and everything. So I did fix all that, and the computer is in new condition. So it says, as you can see, engine installed while turning, engine run for over 40 miles without issue. And I asked him, what do you mean with that? So he ran it for 40 miles and then stall and no longer start, right? And it cranks, but don't start. And this was 7/11. Today is 8/6. So it was actually more like 4 weeks ago here. The computer digits, which is the tier tag number, is a CKX0. All right, so this is just all I want to show you here. Okay, let me actually move you here. A little bright. But yeah, the tier tag and everything is exactly the same, CKX0. And I do these tags myself new. Sometimes I change the number just to give a remanufactured look. Just so you can see all my markings. And these are warranty marks. Don't remove those. Stickers mostly is the most important, because otherwise it will void your warranty. Right, but all right, let's do the test. I think this slide is actually not so bad. So let me put the scanner and the picoscope in the view. I have the picoscope connected to the TIPM, keep saying TIPM or FICM. It's the Injector Driver Module IDM, and the blue channel and the red channel are connected to the positive side activation of the injectors, and the green and yellow channel are connected to the negative control side. So we will see all of those signals if they happen, and if we get communication to the module. On this 7.3, it's not abnormal sometimes that you connect the scanner, you power up, you put the ignition, connect the scanner, and you see no communication. That doesn't mean the computer is not talking. So all you need to do, if you did that and it's no communication, just cycle the ignition, just turn the ignition off, wait like 3 seconds and turn the ignition back on, and that will establish communication. And I have seen that in multiple of these 7.3s, very common on those computers. All right, so let's power up. So I'm going to, turn my power supply on, battery power, and ignition. Nothing is happening yet because we have not connected to the vehicle, right? So let's do that. All right, let's try to make this quick. So in these ones, the automatic ID does not work. because of the years, and also because it's not the entire vehicle here, but that's again completely normal. So I'm gonna have to, and if I choose automatic ID, you see very quickly it says not supported. So I'm gonna keep that in there so you can see, vehicle does not support automatic ID. All right, so we need to do that manually. And I know this vehicle very well. So 2001, the 5th digit is a W, and then the 8th digit is an F for a 7.3 liter power stroke. All right, so now that we enter here, we're going to enter engine powertrain, automatic with air conditioning. In there, it doesn't really matter what I select, it will work. So the first thing I do is codes menu, and I do memory codes to see if I am indeed connected to the computer. So let's click continue, and let's see if we can read the full code. So it should be full code because I don't have much connection. You see, no communication. You will be like, well, there it is. No. Again, let's exit. I go back to that menu. Okay, and now I can do just cycle the ignition. So cycle in the ignition, and 1, 2, 3, and that did. So let's do the read of the memory codes again. And voila. So is the computer talking to the scanner? 100%. So this computer is fully operational. It's fully refurbished. I said, it's always that if something was in the vehicle and they burn it. I haven't even opened it, so I'm like, okay, hopefully that's not the case. He was very meticulous and very careful. He asked me, what is your recommendations I should do? Well, all I can do is give you recommendations. At the end of the day, is not for me to tell you what could or not done in the car, because all I can do is fix the computer. If in the vehicle is a short and it damages the computer, that is not covered. And I'm very clear, very transparent, and I always said no liquid damage, no burn components are covered under any warranty, because I cannot see, I'm not working in your car, I'm working in your module only. And I should, like I said, I should have done this video, but because of the workload, I didn't. But it's okay. So we know now that we have communication. That's all I need to do. So let's go now into the main menu. We're going to go into functional tests. Injector bus test. So right now everything is ready to go, connected, everything is powered up. So let's do the test. All right, let's see if we have activation. I got beautiful, those lines means everything I want to see, and I can hear all the 8 injectors firing. That is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to go over to my screen and stop that capture so we don't lose that information, because that's a complete test. Now we're waiting to see what fault codes could be here, and this is not a normal P1668. Sometimes these modules give that error, and it's no communication in between, and that is the communication in between PCM and IDM. That has absolutely nothing to do with. Sometimes it doesn't like my connections as far as the wires that I use for the resistance, and it gives that error. But as we can see, we can't command the injector. So if it would have been no communication, I would not be able to do the test, because it's the scanner, the one that's telling the computer to send that request to the IDM, and then the test is right here to prove that. All right, so let's go back into that video, into that view of the activations or firing of those sequence in the screen. So let me select a little bit. So I'm going to do a zoom. It might take a little bit to update, and we can start to see more detail, right? That's what the zoom does. So I'm going to select just like one event of the injectors in the positive side. So now that I have that in the screen, I can now perform some measurements. Let me just bring this channel a little higher. So I'm going to measure on the blue channel to see what is the height of those activations for the positive side. It's 113.2. Let's go into the red channel, and we see it 113. So this IDM is fully working. This is actually nothing to do with the computer. This is all in the IDM. I just want to show you because it's important, so he can see that indeed the computer is able to do all this. So now on the negative control, I want to make sure that those driver can pull this close to ground. So the yellow channel, which is one injector, I pick up one of the 8 injectors by choice randomly, and we have 0.6 of a volt. So that is perfectly pulling it to ground. Let's see the green channel. And if I go down, again, this is with the naked eye, we got 0.6. So this is perfect, right? Because I have in the blue channel 113.2 volts. In the red channel, I have 113.3. So that is a perfect activation. The negative side, 684 millivolts, again with the naked eye. If I zoom, I can make it perfect, but that is perfect enough. And the yellow channel is in 672. So how are those drivers in that IDM? Perfect. So this is, again, a test that I'm doing for the customer to make sure that he understands that this computer is able to completely control the IDM and it has good communication. So I'm going to run the test one more time. Let me get the zoom out of the way, and let's do the test one more time to make sure that we don't lose the communication. He told me he does have no communication. So he also had, and that was one of my errors, I probably retorqued my connector too tight and it broke a piece in there. I said, let's just send it over and I can take it off. And he's like, no, I got easy out. So he damaged those threads, and it's your computer, Eric. You can do whatever you want. I would have recommended to get a professional to do that, but your module, you can do whatever you want with it. And that's not covered under my warranty for sure. But the module operation, now you can connect that, and you're going to have to secure the connector probably with a plastic wire tie around the connector, because otherwise it might, with vibration, come off. And this one is not so easy because the way it fits into the firewall in there. But I would recommend to put a nice plastic wire tie so it's nice and tight. No matter what, that's all you really need. This is not, it doesn't need to be torqued. It's just fit in all the way in. That's all you need. All right, so let's do the injector bus test one more time. And I'm going to show you also the data pits on the scanner where I will change the battery voltage up and down so we can see that as well. All right, so let's continue to do the test one more time. And it's off the screen for the first part, but that's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is probably cut in there, and then 8. So those were actually missing on the screen just because of the time. I can actually increase the time base. Let me do that because I want to make sure that we see that. And you can see the same fault code in there. Doesn't matter. All right, let's do the one test one more time. So I'm going to snap the capture and I'm going to start here. And then let me just do this with both hands. So I'm going to click the start and then a start. Now, hold on, because I have to click continue. All right, let me get down to where I can do this. Hopefully I can get all of those in the screen. You see, that's a full burst of all of them, and then that's one at a time. We should have 8 activations in the screen, and that's my goal, to have that in here. Perfect. So let's snap that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have everything that this computer and IDM are meant to do. So this computer, Eric, is fully operational. All right, guys, I don't want to hold you much. Again, this is just a test to prove the customer that it's good. I was a little worried because, after I sent the computer, I don't know what happened there. Did it connect it and he has a major short in the car and it was burned? It was not the issue. So it was not the case. So this is a completely good computer and this is not a problem. So let me go back to the scanner before I finish the video. I'm going to pause 1 second to save these on his folder. So give me 1 second, guys. I have saved the information that I need. Now, let me make the scanner a little bigger in your view. So I'm going to go over to back to the main menu into data display. Since I don't have much connected in here, I'm going to enter the engine. Let me see if I have accessories in these menus that are going to be popped, or well, it's actually not many menus in there. So let me see if I have engine computer voltage. My pressure. I'm looking for just the battery voltage in here, which is a PID I can change. I can immediately see the 5-volt reference are all present, which is great. Okay, perfect. We got the battery voltage in here, so I'm going to make that into a graph. You can see it in there. I'm going to now change that voltage 1 volt up and down, so you can see the immediate response of the scanner reading that information from the computer, which is great, right? So it's a communicating 100%, right? So we can read the information from the module through the bus of communication over to the BCI, which is wireless, and then over to my scanner. Yes, these are all computers, so the computer communication is a little slow. If I select less speed or just a 1 bit, the computer communication will be better. So let me show you that, because if you saw there, it was kind of like a curve when I did the changes on voltage. But if I do custom and I deselect them all, I just going to select the B power, which I think it was this one right here, right? So, and I put them into a graph view. Now the update refresh rate for the computer to the scanner is a lot faster because we're only requesting 1 bit. And that is just the diagnostic communication, nothing to do in the vehicle. The actual communication in the vehicle is a lot faster because this is communication bus for the diagnostics. All right, so let me do the change on voltage. And we can see how the response is now immediate. See, I go one bolt down, bolt up. Actually, it went too far. And you see how the changes in time are pretty much as I am moving the knob. Again, how is the communication on this computer? Not an issue at all. Everything is 100%. And after you establish communication, let me just do this because this is very important to show you all that are watching this for your 7.3s. If I remove or I'll get out of the vehicle, right? Like right now I did, completely got out. I'm going to power, just ignition off. Let's do a scanner. I'm going to power the ignition back one more time. And we're going to do the manual selection now that we know that we need to do it that way. Again, 2001, W, F, enter, and then engine powertrain, automatic with air conditioning, codes menu, memory codes. I will always recommend to do this so you know if you have communication before you try to attempt to do anything. You see now that we have the scanner, BCI is still on the vehicle connected, the communication is always established. So this is a good test so you can see that it's indeed good communication. So we completely disconnected from the vehicle as far as removing the information, but not removing the BCI. That keeps the BCI in between the bus, and that makes not losing the communication. All right, guys, thank you so much. Eric, your module is fully working. So I will just pack this back and send it to you. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.